Hello, and thanks for watching today's video. Today we are going to talk about the 11 budgeted expenses that you most likely forgot to budget.
And I know we've forgotten some of these, so...
Yep. But before we get started, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. It really helps us. And also leave us a comment if there's some expenses that you've thought of that we have not.
Yes.
So the first one is upgrading and replacing your phones and your computers. A lot of times when we retire, we'll get a new phone or a new computer, but they don't last forever. In fact, we got notice that the computer, our home computer, will not be updated as of the end of this year, so we are going to have to buy a new one. And you can buy a cheap one, but we usually find when you buy a cheap one, it doesn't last very long. So, you could be shelling out $500 to $1,000 easily for a replacement computer. And we all know that phones these days are $1,000 for a phone. And so yeah, that's something you're probably not budgeting for, but you might want to have a little reserve account set aside for that.
Definitely. And that includes iPads or any other electronic gadgets that you use regularly.
Yep, a lot of people have the watches, smartwatches.
Right.
I mean, it's all in that group and they just don't last forever.
So the second thing is car maintenance and also registration for your vehicles that you have to do regularly. And that also includes boats, RVs, so not just your car.
Yep, definitely. And that can be expensive. Your tires wear out, your brakes wear out, you need oil changes. And, my car pops up a little warning light, scheduled maintenance A4, and of course you take it into the dealer and they've got this huge list of things that they include on that. So definitely include that on, yeah. So the next one, which I think most of you are probably not even thinking about, is related to your pets. A lot of you have pets. A lot of us have pets. We currently don't, but we usually do. And it would be vet bills, which can be unexpected, and kenneling the pet if you travel. If you're lucky and you have a friend or a relative you can leave the pet with, that's great, but most people don't. And pet kennels, well, they've become bougie.
Yes.
They're no longer called kennels.
No, they're resorts.
Pet hotels and resorts, yeah. So that can be expensive. It's definitely something that you want to think about budgeting.
Yes. The fourth thing is eye care, dental care. You've got occasional visits to these, so it might not be something that you remembered to put in your monthly budget. And, related to that, along with your visits, you might have extra bills on top of that.
And I don't think we did budget for that.
No, you might need new eyeglasses. No, we have not put that in.
Cleaning, teeth cleaning.
Yeah, which, that you will obviously need regularly, but it's not something we thought to put in our monthly budget.
No.
Which is definitely a good idea.
Yep. And the unexpected filling or crown or all these things, they can be very expensive.
Very.
Contact lenses. So the next one would be if you're a renter, renter's insurance. That would be a monthly bill usually that you pay. And it's usually not very expensive, but it's definitely something you should think about putting on your monthly bill, your monthly budget.
Yeah, and also if you own your own home and you move to an area that has, maybe you get hurricanes and you have extra insurances that you didn't have before, which is definitely the case for us.
Yeah, so you've got your regular homeowners, and then you have your storm and wind, and then you have your flood.
Right.
So you have 3 different policies.
Right, which was new to us. And definitely something that we need to budget for. Yeah,
and our insurance company will let us pay those things monthly. So it's a lot less painful when you're paying it monthly.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Okay, so the next one is pest control. Now, a lot of people might just be doing this anyway, but for us, it wasn't something that we used to have.
No, we didn't
at
need
our
it.
old house that we really needed.
No.
No, even the bugs didn't.
But it's warmer here.
Survive there.
there's
So
very definitely a whole new subspecies group of bugs that we've
there are
become
just
familiar with.
so many bugs, so
Yeah.
many. So yeah, for us, it's definitely a necessity here that we have pest control
Yeah.
regularly.
And that is a quarterly
Quarterly.
expense for us that we have, but that's something that we definitely should be budgeting for. Yeah.
Yes.
And the next item, which is on my list, but I'm actually going to defer here because it's not really my expertise. But what's the next one?
So getting your hair cut or going to a stylist, having your hair colored, or maybe you get manicures, anything like that. Obviously, that's more expensive for me than it is for
Right.
you.
Well, it's more expensive for both of us because it's a shared expense, but it's something that we should be thinking about. I mean, mine is $20 every couple of months, bzz, you're done. But yours is a little bit more involved, and if somebody treated your hair that way, I think there would be a bit of a problem. So, yeah.
Yes, and I have actually tried to cut your hair before, and it was a bit of a disaster, so that was a one-time thing. Now, I might give it another go.
And if she does, we'll take pictures so you can see. Okay, I think enough said about that. But those expenses can add up, and you should budget those and put a little bit aside monthly so that when you pay that bill, the money's already there and you don't even think about it. The next one would be keeping your computer updated with like subscriptions to antivirus software or any other subscriptions that you have for software on your computer or your phone. A lot of people do buy apps on their app store, like the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, that do carry monthly subscriptions. I know one of the ones we have is a password manager, and we pay annually for that, but that way it syncs across all our devices and we can keep all of our passwords tidy. But that's something a lot of people don't even ever think of putting in their budget. But it's an expense that you pay. So, you don't want it to come out of your food money.
No, and actually, I don't think we have that in our budget.
We do not.
Either,
No, so here we are. Practice what you preach.
Yes. So let's see, number 9, occasional yard maintenance. So even if you have your regular yard service, somebody might come over and cut your lawn, there might be something that you need done annually, like maybe you need your trees trimming or
we used to have hedges
trimming.
that we had to pay for.
Yeah, there might be all kind. Maybe you want to have somebody else spread the bark dust if you have a large space for that. These things you might not think to put in your monthly budget, but definitely they can be very expensive. So it's a good idea to add those in.
And annual backflow testing, that's another thing. If you have a sprinkler system, most areas require that you do that now.
Yes.
For sure. The next item would be shipping costs. If you have kids, regardless of them being adult kids or not, I can guarantee that you make regular visits to the post office or somewhere
To send them things.
Right. They left something at your house, they need you to get something, whatever it happens to be. I mean, we're the storage facility for the adult kids because they're not ready to take their stuff yet, but every now and then they want something. And I would say several times a year we're shipping off packages, especially after holidays.
Yeah, and also stamps are very expensive now as well. And, you might need to send a birthday card to somebody or, a wedding card to somebody, something like that. But you probably should put that in your budget as well because the shipping costs have become very expensive.
Yes, they have.
Okay, so the final item, number 11.
It's a big one.
Yes, birthday gifts, holiday gifts, and I don't just mean Christmas gifts, but you might have Father's Day gifts, Mother's Day gifts.
Anniversary gifts.
Anniversary gifts, very important. What else? You just might send gifts for random occasions, maybe.
Well, you might
Easter
have nieces and nephews that you're sending gifts to. You've got your own kids you're sending birthday gifts to. You've got their kids that you're sending gifts to, or your grandkids, in other words, or nieces and nephews. I mean, the list gets
Parents,
bigger.
Siblings.
Yep.
Yes.
And that needs to be budgeted for because you are going to send them gifts.
Yes,
So,
and it can be expensive.
yeah.
Well, it can be as expensive as you want it to be, but those gifts definitely can add up throughout the year. So
Yeah,
good
definitely.
to add those in.
Yeah, so hopefully we've provoked a little bit of thought here of maybe things you hadn't thought about putting in your budget. And there's things that we forgot to put in ours too, so we're going to have to revise that after this video. But please comment, let us know what you think, and we really appreciate it if you would subscribe. Please subscribe and
Give us a thumbs
give us a
up.
thumbs up.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.